So here we go again. This is another compilation video, and this is going to be for the Strangers trilogy, which is, you see in the picture at the beginning and pics at the beginning before the video starts. This was directed by Renny Harlin, and this starred Madelaine Petsch of Riverdale fame, aka Cheryl Blossom. And this was a trilogy of horror films I was actually curious about as a fan of the first two movies, even though they're not the greatest horror movies ever made, as some would say. I was curious about how this trilogy will turn out since they were all shot in one during 2021-2022 period. And unfortunately, this trilogy is one of the more disappointing horror trilogies I've had to witness. The first movie was just second movie was bad, and the third movie was just frustratingly bad. And so far, it's my worst film of the year. And I've done a few other review compilations before, but it's going to be interesting with me going back in the editing process and denoising my review of the first film and still making a slight changes to this to make it a full intended supercut to see how it flows for a couple minutes. So it's pretty much my reviews of all three films in one video. This isn't the first time I've done this. I've done review compilations of the Dune saga so far, the Netflix Daredevil's MCU series, and a review compilation of Jessica Jones where I also reviewed season 3. So I have pretty much mastered this compilation thing, and plus it's also a way to help bring in some new people. My intended goal with this compilation video or any review compilation videos I've done is not to replace the original reviews. More so to bring in more people who don't want to do all the scrolling down or searching and do something like this. Or I could just simply bring them into one video and to bring in a complete full-on experience for your viewing pleasure. So the original reviews are going to be linked in the description box down below if you want to watch individually.
She does a good job. She's
but if you want to watch them as one go, here you go. That being said, I hope you enjoy.
And she does have potential beyond this trilogy and beyond Riverdale and beyond what else I've seen. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Episodes of Joshua. I talk movies, TV, music, and anime on a few occasions with last. My name is Joshua Drake. If you are new here or if you're a returning player, welcome back. This is going to be my thoughts for The Strangers Chapter 1. This is the first in a standalone trilogy, all based on the original 2008 film. This is directed by Renny Harlin and stars Madelaine Petsch and Froy Gutierrez. Simple premise of The Strangers Chapter 1 is that we follow a couple named Maya and Ryan. They've been dating for 5 years and he's on the verge of asking her to marry him. After their car breaks down in an eerie small town, a young couple is forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. Panic ensues as they are terrorized by 3 masked strangers who strikes with no mercy and simply no motive. Why? Because they're home, as they always like to say. When it comes to the Strangers movies, I am actually a fan of the first 2 movies. Don't get me wrong, I have my issues with them. The dumb character decisions half the time really frustrates me, especially in the first one with the couple. And then the second one, there's some decisions made there too that frustrate me. Like, I still think in The Strangers Party Night, you could have had Christina Hendricks beat the shit out of one of them. That's what I would like to have seen. But I can enjoy them. They're entertaining. They're fun. And they do make me question what would I do if I was in situation where someone's trying to attack my house. I was actually looking forward to this and this trilogy, of course. I was looking forward to this for a good reason. I am a fan of the Strange movies, despite the issues. One, Renny Harlin is a competent director. I do like some of his movies. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, The Event, Die Hard 2, yeah, Cliffhanger, yeah, Deep Blue Sea. Exorcist: The Beginning was my first movie of his that I ever watched as a kid. There's still some I have not watched, like Cutthroat Island or Mistrial or Mindhunters. And I really thought the 12 Rounds was underrated. It's very complicated nowadays on The Long Kiss Goodnight. I know a lot of people really like that movie. I'm just very complicated on it. And The Legend of Hercules is not good. I own it as a guilty pleasure though, because I can just enjoy the stupidity and just enjoy it for what it is. But I was actually curious to see what this was going to be like. And another reason was because Madelaine Petsch. I am a fan of Madelaine Petsch as an actress. Riverdale all the way. She's a good actress that's stepping out of that show's comfort zone. Which is why it hurts me to say this one is... I'm not going to say this is one of the worst movies of 2024, but I will say this is another one of the biggest disappointments there. It's a major frustration for me to have to say this, because I do like Madelaine Petsch as an actress overall. I do like this director. This is not a very good start to this trilogy so far, and it does have its moments, but beyond that, there's just one major problem with this movie. In terms of what I like in the movie, I will say there are moments of competent cinematography, and I like the color aesthetic and the way Renny Harlin likes to play with the camera in moments. There's one moment we saw in the trailer with Maya playing the piano, and then you have this whole angle of someone's looking at her from the point of view. That's pretty cool. I do like the cinematography, and for the budget that they have, you do get what you're coming for with some of the violence and the cinematography. There is a few good scares of tension that I actually don't mind. That actually got under my skin, and the Carnage Candy, it takes a while to get there, but when it gets there, it's good, and it's actually really entertaining to watch. So the score-wise, it's pretty fine, it's serviceable, it's a serviceable horror score, and it's not too long. It's not too long there. Really, if I have to give this movie any credit, the performances are good from the strangers, and the two leads, Maya and Ryan, is good. Froy Gutierrez is good, but Madelaine Petsch is the reason why I kept watching this movie. No, not because she's attractive. I know what you're gonna say. Because she is. She is attractive. She is a beautiful woman. One of my favorite redhead crushes. Now,
I
try not to look.
Eliza.
Try. Relax, girl. I'm trying.
Yes.
Yeah. For her.
No.
Try to keep up.
her acting, I think, was genuinely pretty good. When she had to be scared and terrified, despite the character that she was forced to work with, I think she's really damn good at her. And like I say, if the other two movies are, if anything, the other two movies could be more competent with the character of Maya because of her performance. She does a good job. She's scared when she needs to be. She gets angry when she needs to be. They do feel like a couple when you need to be. And she does have potential beyond this trilogy and beyond Riverdale and beyond what else I've seen. I could see her doing bigger things, like a character like Angelica Jones from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, or a Poison Ivy, or anything like that. I think her potential is there. So I will say that is what I do like in there. I like the performances. I think it's competently directed. There's some competent cinematography. There's a few moments of scares there. I even have a problem with the fact that they did take the formula of the 2008 movie and use it here. every franchise has a formula that has to be used, so I kind of get why they have to go this route. Unfortunately, the biggest casualty of this movie, what hurts this movie and what irritates the hell out of me with this movie is the writing. Now, I understand this is a horror movie. I understand that. But there is absolutely no reason why 3 movies in, if you're going to have these characters make dumb decisions, you got to at least have them make a few smart decisions. These characters, despite the performances, really let down by the writing in this. And that is my biggest casualty when it comes to this film, is the writing is what lets these two down. Their acting is good. It's just, I'm like,
well, what are you gonna do?
the defenses people have for this movie is that you have to make dumb character decisions. You have to have characters be assholes in order for this movie to work. My answer to that is,
Oh, well, you are a wimp. Over there.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
no, you don't. I understand horror movies have this trope. You have to have dumb decisions in order for this to work. But you can also have characters make very smart decisions in order to get out of this alive. And I just felt like if we had maybe a few smart decisions or a couple smart decisions made by these guys, I would have been able to tolerate some of the dumb choices. But the boyfriend especially, for the first few minutes, I was actually on his side. He's in love with this woman, which who wouldn't want to be in love with Madelaine Petsch? You gotta be a damn fool if you say no.
Huh?
Say what?
It's just my problem with this is the fact that the minute they go to this cabin and the minute they get into this town, that as the whole people are being mean to her because she's a vegetarian, of course. But Jesus, it's really beyond borderline irritating that every decision he makes is even going as far as leaving her alone in the cabin, which I'm sorry, I would not leave my girlfriend in the cabinet or something like this. I wouldn't. And if you're gonna try and use that argument that you gotta have dumb character decisions, there are plenty of other horror movies where you have characters make some of the smart decisions and they're able to get out alive. So don't give me this bullshit about that. Some decisions in this movie, there gets to a point where it becomes too much. And I'm sitting there like, my God, either just make a smart decision or just die already. It just feel like it's the writing that really bugs this movie down. And on top of that, I will say, for as short as this movie is, this movie has some serious pacing problems in the first couple of minutes. It takes a good couple minutes for things to happen. I'm not saying you can't do a slow build up, but I'm like, we've been through this the first 2 times. Just get us into the action, or at least try to bring the strangers on a little bit early. And you know these people are messing with you with this cabin when they come knocking on the door and such. And I'm like, by the end of the movie, I'm like, I want both of you to die, but at least one of you stay. The ending is not that satisfying. This ending was the biggest cop-out. I know there's 2 more movies. You don't have to tell me in the comments. I just hated the way this movie wrapped up. You have him have a shotgun. Ryan, the character of Ryan, has a shotgun. You think he's gonna shoot them? No. No. You just act like a dumbass again. Then you have them in a car. And just when they're about to leave, take the car and get the hell out of Dodge, he still makes the smart dumb decision. I'm like, do you see what I'm saying here, guys? Do you see what I'm saying here? Just the dumb decisions and the way this movie chooses to wrap itself up kind of frustrates me.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And it is basically a retread of what we've seen before, but like I said, that is the least of this movie's problems. The problems is the writing and the dumb character decisions. At the end of the day, guys, this is not something I'm going to put on worst 2022 material. It's not a movie I'm going to say is one of the worst things ever. If anything, it'll probably be at the lower tier of the worst 2022, only because of the writing and the character decisions. But if the writing was a little bit better, if you had these two men, especially that boyfriend of hers, make smart decisions to overcome some of the bad ones, I would have been fine. It's perfectly watchable if you are interested in this, if you've never seen Strangers, or if you just want to watch a movie. Fine. But for me, with this first half of this trilogy, I expected to see some improvement in the characters. And, well, it's not terrible. I'm not going to rage quit so far. I'm just going to continue this. I'm going to get through the rest of the Strangers trilogy and watch it. Madelaine Petsch is capable, though. I will say that. I need to see some improvement in her character as well as the boyfriend character if he's still alive. If you want to watch this, I would suggest waiting until renting or streaming. But even then, you'll probably have the same frustrations as me.
I don't understand. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel if you are a returning member, or welcome if you are new here. This is Epitassic Joshua. My name is Joshua Drake Randall, and we are going to talk about, in Rant, The Strangers, Chapter 2. Oh my god. This is once again directed by Renny Harlin and stars Madelaine Petsch once again. And this is the second installment of a new trilogy. And this is the fourth attempt at a Strangers movie. After learning that one of their victims, Maya, is still alive, three master maniacs returns to finish the job. With nowhere to run and no one to trust, Maya soon finds herself in a brutal fight for survival against psychopaths who are more than willing to kill anyone that stands in her way. I've reviewed the other Strangers movies on this channel if you want to hear my thoughts on them, but I'll echo them here. I think the first movie from 2008, despite some character decisions and frustrations, I still think it's a pretty solid movie on its own, for me personally. I much prefer Strangers Prayer Nights, and while Strangers Prayer Nights does have the same issues going into it, carrying over from the first movie from 2008, I will say it's a pretty little B movie that's ridiculously enjoyable. The Strangers Chapter 1, I didn't really care too much for it at all. I said it was decent, but it had a lot of issues with it. So going into the second half of this, I was willing to give this a shot, and I was hoping maybe there was a chance that this would actually be a lot more better. Maybe they will have took the part of the Strangers franchise where they had to redo certain parts of the 2008 original, and this will be the one where they just get to freshen it all up and get to go balls to the wall crazy. And I was curious to be one of those people that was going to be like, okay, maybe this would be a little better than the first movie. And let me tell you something. This is not an improvement whatsoever. In fact, I think this is even worse than the first movie. As far as the positives go when it comes to this movie, this is what I will say. I will say this about this film, okay? Madelaine Petsch is doing the best that she can. I think Madelaine Petsch is a good actress. She's a very talented, good actress. I think she is. Riverdale is proving that. Some people don't like Riverdale. Some people may not like Madelaine Petsch. But I will say she is doing the absolute best that she can for a terrible script like this. I think she's one of the only few bright spots that's
holding this movie together. And of course, it's obvious that she's attractive. I don't have to go over this again, but in terms of her acting, she is capable. And there's moments in this movie where she has to do a lot of physical acting with her face and with screaming or running because she doesn't have as much dialogue. She's in the state of panic. She's in a state of fear. She's a capable actress, but my goodness, post Riverdale, I want her to get better movies or better projects. Give her something like a Poison Ivy or such. Give her something. She's too good to be wasting her time in this. The cinematography, I also think, is fine. There are some interesting shots that they choose to play with, even in the hospital when Maya is being chased and you're following the strangers around. I like those parts of the movie, in cinematography-wise. The hospital setting in the first couple minutes is actually creepy. Hospitals can be creepy. The score, musically wise, is not the best, but I think it's fine. There are a few moments of tension and carnage candy that you do get to get. Other than that, this movie, my God, had the same problems as the first movie. The character decisions isn't as bad as it was in the first movie, but every time Maya has a chance to take these guys out or to fight against them, most of the time she's either in the state of panic, which I understand, making noises, or just making some weird decisions here. And I'm like, this is not good for a final girl like this. This is what you do with Madelaine Petsch. Cheryl Blossom is Cheryl fucking Blossom. People, are you fucking kidding me in the writing room? Come on now. The script is plagued by this because of it, and pretty tame in terms of kills. Aside from a very select few moments of brutality, this movie has barely any blood or any kills. It feels like you're rated R, but it also feels like you're a tame PG-13, and it feels like you're having to cut things out. Characters in this movie, aside from Maya, most of the time, is not that interesting. You bring in the sister of Maya, you bring in this police officer, played by Richard Brake, and then you have all these other characters in here, which they could have amounted to something if you actually gave them fucking character depth, but the movie chooses, no, fuck that shit. We're not giving these guys any character development. And it's just like, then why are they even here in the first freaking place, man? Movie, in terms of pacing, this movie is only 90 some odd minutes. Feels like 2 hours and 11 minutes because nothing much happens aside from the hospital chases. And this whole movie is just one big chase scene, which on paper is actually a pretty good idea. But you gotta do something. You gotta have Maya be able to fight something or something. And it's like, they don't even bother to do that. There's this ridiculous scene in this movie, which I kid you not, almost made me laugh because the CG, you're trying to be the Revenant, and the CGI boar or whatever it is does not look convincing whatsoever. Granted, you don't want to put any animals in danger. You don't want to go to jail for animal cruelty. You could have done an animatronic or something. You have the budget for it. The explanation you try to give for these killers, that's something that had my curiosity, and this actually could have been interesting. But the way you choose to go about it is just so ridiculous. I do not like that decision whatsoever when it comes to the film. I think it's just one of the most laziest ways you could have done this. The best part about knowing about the strangers is that you don't know a motive. They just like, where's Tamara? Tamara ain't home, bitch. Okay? She's not home, bitch. Go home, you crazy strangers. Shit. The direction by Renny Harlin, he is a guilty pleasure director for me. Sometimes, not every movie he does works for me, but this does not even feel like Renny Harlin is directing it. It feels like they have more so of a guy in suits, and they're not happy with what Renny Harlin is doing, so they want to make the movie their way. And because that's what it feels like this entire movie. And I appreciate the fact that you're trying when it comes to these Strangers movies to do something different. But when you have characters have dumb decisions, like in the first two movies, or in the last movie, which came out last year, or if you're not given anything interesting for the Strangers to do, what is the point? It doesn't help your movie or trilogy not one bit. And this definitely falls into the middle chapter syndrome because of that. I hate the ending of this movie. I am not happy with that ending. Not happy with it. What in the green hell was that bullshit? The way this movie chooses to end, I'm just like, let's just get this fucking shit over with, because Madelaine Petsch needs better movies, which I'm hopeful for her to get better movies. She had one in the case of Maintenance Required, which I thought was decent. I want Madelaine Petsch to succeed as an actress, especially as a redhead actress. I want to see her do better outside of these movies. I know she can. It's just, y'all need to give her some better scripts or something to work with. I can't just root for these movies or be fair to these movies just because of her name is attached. An actress that I think has strong capabilities in acting, for me personally. But she needs better movies or such and being involved in these. Same thing with Renny Harlin. I can't be fair to these only because of those two alone. But in the end, guys, this is not a movie that is worth checking out. You didn't see it, and good for you if you didn't see it. But if you are a Strangers fan, maybe check it out. Maybe form your own opinion, because regardless of what I say, I always champion everyone to form their opinion on something. But if a movie like this is not worth it, it just ain't worth it. But I do this for you guys, and you're welcome for it. Aside from Madelaine Petsch and aside from a few other positives, The Strangers Chapter 2 is definitely one of the worst movies this year and one of the worst horror films in a year that has been pretty good for a genre, despite a lot of movies in the horror genre I haven't seen, like Weapons, or 28 Years Later, or Dangerous Animals, or other movies like that. It's just a waste of what could have been an interesting film, and I think this is just a waste of time. If you are someone who wants better for Madelaine Petsch, just skip this. You're not missing much in this. In the end, if you are a fan of Renny Harlin, Madelaine Petsch, or a fan of The Strangers, you may like this more than I did. Because there's always someone out there who likes something better than you, or hates it worse than you. But honestly, you know the grade I'm going to give this. This is going to be a skip it. You can skip this bullshit, because there is nothing here that's worth a recommendation. And you can't say I didn't try, so don't give me that excuse in the YouTube comments. So in the comment section down below, what did you guys think of The Strangers Chapter 2? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere right in the middle? Do you want better options for Madelaine Petsch as an actress? What do you like or hate her? Let's discuss all of it down below. Let's talk about the movie in depth. All on the social medias are in the description box down below to my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, Blue Sky. All of that is down there. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't get notified when more videos are up, live streams, or post to my community tab. Otherwise, you won't be able to get these notifications. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to give it a 5-star like, and be sure to share it with your friends. As always, stay epic-tastic, join the epic-tasticness, and you guys keep it cool. Somebody please get Madelaine some better movies. Please, for me, I'm begging you. Well, that's going to do it for the video that you just watched. If you want to see more, my channel icon is up here. If you want to see more content from me, all my social medias are right here in this end card. I will also leave a playlist and a video here for you to see what the channel is about. As always, acknowledge me, stay epitastic, join the epitasticness, and you guys keep it cool.
let me just say it. The reason I have the smile on my face is because I am so fucking happy that this damn trilogy is done and over with. What's going on, guys? My returning members and new members, this is Joshua Drake Rounds here, and welcome to Appetizers Joshua, or welcome back. And I'm here for the end of this little trilogy here, because thank God it's over. I accomplished it, and I can say I achieved something. What am I talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Strangers, Chapter 3. Thank God, man. Thank goodness this is the last of this trilogy, because I can't take anymore. This is directed by Renny Harlin once again, and stars Madelaine Petsch once again, Richard Brake, Rachel Shenton, Kyle Brennadoff, Ema Horvath, Froy Gutierrez, and Gabriel Basso. Let's just get this fucking shit over with. Tethered by a frightening conclusion, Maya and the Strangers are locked in an unavoidable, unforgiving collision course, a showdown that proves that they are far from strangers now. It has been no secret that I am not a fan of this Strangers trilogy so far. Chapter 2 is one of my worst movies of last year, which I will do that worst and best of 2025 hopefully soon. Chapter 1 was one of my most disappointing movies of 2024. And I don't really want to discuss my thoughts on the first two, the 2008 and Praying Nights. I reviewed them on the channel. So I went into this with no excitement, little to no excitement whatsoever. Because I was just at the point where I'm fucking tired of watching these movies. I just want to get this shit over with in terms of this particular trilogy. I can confidently say we made it, everyone, because 4 movies back to freaking back. It has been a frustrating, mentally exhausting process with 3 movies that are not good back to back. I couldn't leave this alone forever. I couldn't. And easily, this is number 4 of the worst movies of 2026 so far. This movie is anger-inducing, but not as anger-inducing as Twin on Tubi was. Twin was just pathetic, and it was lazy, and it was bullshit. I will say, of the movies in the Strangers trilogy, I will say this is the best of the 3. But that doesn't give you a pass. Like I said, it is the best of the trilogy, as it does try to do something a little more different. Although it ain't executed the best, I will give you points for trying to do something different. And I felt like if you actually try and commit it to doing this whole crazy storyline where you have one of the main survivors kind of be consumed and controlled to do what you say, I actually thought that would have been a great, interesting way to do it off. This is an idea that should have been explored more in the first movie. The movie also has some nice camera work. I will say it's shot very well. That's one thing he has not lost, is the way how to shoot a film. So there's one moment of tension that did remind me of The Strangers 2008. That's the one moment I will actually give it, where it was actually trying to be scary. Also, some needle drops were fine. Gabriel Basso, despite how much they do with his character, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'll say I do like it. I do like more of what they try to do with him. He gives a good performance, just like the first 2, and just like with anything else I've seen this girl in. Madelaine Petsch is a capable actress. I wish she had a better movie franchise to show it in terms of horror. I wish she had better scripts for her to show it. But this entire trilogy has not been the best showcase in terms of what she can do as an actress. I've seen her be great. Riverdale, Maintenance Required, Hotel for the Holiday. I believe one day, if you give her a great film, or you give her a great script and a great directors, like Renny Harlin, despite the script for this, or give her a great character. I'm one of those people who's argued that she should be Poison Ivy in the DCU, or a Firestar, or a 007 girl, or something. If you give her a script that will work for her, it'll be a situation where it's like, oh, we was wrong about Madelaine Petsch. She's actually a good actress. I'm still rooting for her as a fan of her, but this is just not the movies to do it. Those positives I give is not enough to recommend this unsatisfying, pathetic excuse of a closing chapter to this trilogy. Same damn issues as we have as the last two. The characters here are not as interesting, not even Maya here. I was frustrated with the way they choose to make her character in this movie. I understand she's a girl who's lost her fiance or boyfriend. I understand that she's going through some shit. This is a prime example of what you can do when you don't have the best writers. And it just makes you question, why was even this a freaking trilogy?
Oh my god, I know.
What they do with her is beyond baffling and insulting. Nothing feels earned. Nothing feels satisfying. This is like an hour and a half of trying to throw shit to the wall and see what's stuck. I don't like the fact, the answers that you give about who is Tamara, why the strangers do what they do, why are they the strangers, why they act the way as they act. A lot of that, the answers that you get, if you come in to get some good answers, you are going to be sadly disappointed, because none of these answers are even the most satisfying. I'm sitting here like, that's bullshit.
Get the fuck out of here!
And by the time it was over, I was sitting here like scratching my head and just literally wanted to yell, because I was so mad watching this movie. Nothing here was resolved. It's like, this easily could have been one freaking movie. That's what I'm saying. This could have been one fucking movie, and we could have saved me the time and trouble of this. I was one of those people. Who was championing this trilogy, being like, there's something here. Maybe you could do something interesting. Maybe you could play on the lore. And the sad part is, the strangers, these are three iconic killers in the case of Pinup Doll, Scarecrow, and the other one. That's how mad I am. You're gonna finally give us some answers here, and this is what you're doing. This is how you repay me, watching this nonsense. I sat here. I don't want to hear a damn thing from people saying, Josh, you didn't give this a chance. I gave this a chance. You understand? I was one of those people trying to be open-minded. But damn it, when your movie is not good, it just ain't good. This doesn't even feel like Renny Harlin is directing. It feels like someone is holding Renny Harlin back. That clearly does piss me off when it comes to this, because Renny Harlin, for better or worse, is a capable director. When you have a good actress in Madelaine Petsch, again, you clearly wasted the efforts and times of Cheryl Blossom. This is Madelaine Petsch we talking about. Gorgeous, fine as hell redhead from Riverdale. The fuck is your problem, writers? Confrontation is just lazy. The confrontation is unsatisfying for me. It just gave me flashbacks of Halloween Ends and After Ever Happy, which I didn't even see After Everything, because I spared myself from that toxic ass excuse of a fucking romance franchise. The last film, watching all three of these movies yearly, back to back, from 2024 to 2026, just proves the very much thing when it comes to this. You can have a talented director like Renny Harlin and Madelaine Petsch, who is a capable actress who I want to see better of going forward, for better and worse. She will try. You don't execute it right with a good script, you ain't got nothing. And this movie proves how fully potentially wasted this trilogy was. The reveals that you want to give, it seriously boggles my mind how this got greenlit as a trilogy. It's seriously baffling and seriously mind-blowing. I'm sitting here fucking pissed off as I'm reviewing it. I was hoping y'all would have something good here. You're just going through the motions with these movies. I think this trilogy and this third movie might have killed any momentum of The Strangers has had. And they're horror icons for a reason, despite their movies not always being the best. You kind of screwed the pooch there. And also the violence in this movie felt pretty tamed as well. Overall, I'm not even going to waste any more time on this movie because I've gone on long enough. If I go on any more, this will be at least 18 and a half minutes. This trilogy was a waste. This experience of this third movie is a waste. It is going to be one of the worst movies of this year by the time we get to it. This is just pure stupidity. And just fucking lame. If you enjoyed this movie, that's fine. I don't understand how you could, especially in the guilty pleasure way. But this is just not a good way to do a trilogy of films. And this is not even the best way to make the best movie possible. And it's not satisfying for me to see any of these characters, any of this crew, Renny Harlin and Madelaine Petsch's talents completely wasted like this. I'm ticked off. I'm ticked off that 3 years later, from 2024 to 2026, this is what they give me. If you're going to watch The Strangers, just stick with the first movie. Also stick with Parade Night. If you enjoyed the first two in this new trilogy, you'll like this one. If not, you will not. It's seriously pathetic. I know there's going to be more bad movies and disappointing movies this year, but I'm just asking for one thing. Can I please ask for some fucking great or good or master classes of cinema this year? Can I please ask for a few good movies, a few near perfect or masterpieces or great films this year going forward? Please, that's all I ask. I'm fucking glad this is over. I'm glad I survived all three of these movies for y'all viewing pleasure. This trilogy is a waste of time. Madelaine, Renny Harlin, y'all deserve better than this, man. This movie gets my seal of disapproval. I was this close to giving it the worst of the worst, which is to get out of my face. But because of those very few positives, you're lucky you're barely getting away with those. In the comment section down below, what did you guys think of this movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you see it? What do you think of this overall Strangers trilogy overall? If I have to rank them, this chapter 2 is the worst. Then chapter 1, and then chapter 3. And that says a lot. All my social media links are in the description box down below to my Facebook and such. If you like to send any money to my Cash App or Chime, you can do that as well. Also, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, by all means, have at it. Enjoy yourself. Be sure to subscribe and like and hit the notification bell to get notified when more videos such like this is over. Thank goodness this Strangers trilogy is over, because this has been an ordeal. And not only that, this has just been one of the most disappointing trilogies and disappointing things I've seen.